I just don't think I can continue to live in a place that embraces and nurtures apathy as if it was a virtue.
You're no different. You're no better.
I didn't say I was different or better. I'm not. Hell, I sympathize. I sympathize completely. Apathy is a solution. I mean, it's easier to lose yourself in drugs than it is to cope with life. It's easier to steal what you want than it is to earn it. It's easier to beat a child than it is to raise it. Hell, love costs. It takes effort. And cheat codes.
Love takes cheat codes. That's what I said.
It's true. May 26th, everybody, 2016. Welcome to episode 98 of the Cheat Codes podcast. That intro is arguably not as good as a Nine Inch Nails remix, but we do all right, don't we? Thank you for tuning in. We're always glad to have you with us. It's nice to have you here. The next hour is us drinking a few beers and going over our favorite bits from the past week in video game, tech, and pop culture news. My name is Joe Erskine, and we're coming to you from inside a dimly lit hovel. The stench is unbearable, and the dead body at the table is face down in a plate of something that is clearly delicious. He ate a lot of it. Today I'm here with Cheat Codes producer and editor, Mr. Joe Mills Arroyo.
Hey, what's up?
Cheat Codes contributor, Mr. Nick John Doe Golish.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, buddy. Today on the show, we're going to cut off our noses to spite our faces to get to the main topics. The early reviews on the Warcraft movie are in and aren't exactly glowing. We'll argue that maybe that we're all to blame for this. But wait, Japan is promising flying cars by the 2020 Olympics because sure, why not? And Oculus is somehow enabling piracy by fighting it or something. For today's lightning round, we'll strap a knife to our crotches and get freaky to sort out the following bits. Steven Spielberg is making a public call for your 3D avatars for the Ready Player One movie. And lastly, we'll discuss the best and worst game marketing stunt of all time. Hi, guys.
Hey, it's been a while.
Yeah, a whole week. It's nice to see you. I want, it says in the script right now, check-ins under the banter section, and I'm not sure what to say to you. We work together now. I see you all the time, all day long.
Yeah, well, you could ask me how my day was.
How was your day, Joe?
I don't know. There's this annoying coworker. I just can't seem to get rid of him.
I know, and he's sitting right between us. It's fucked up. Hi, Nick. How are you doing, buddy?
Hey, how's it going?
Hi. How was Overwatch?
It's, yeah, that's a good question.
It's bang bang shoot shoot.
Pew pew.
Pew pew. Pretty much.
Are you having fun with it?
Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun game. I mean,
I feel like I'm the only person on the planet that hasn't played it yet.
I haven't played
he
it.
hasn't played it
So
either.
there's the two of us. Okay.
So you're the only two people
On the planet that haven't played it. All right.
I'm still uncharting.
Did you buy any loot crates yet?
I didn't buy anything. You get them for free when you level up. But
That's what I heard,
Once
yeah.
you reach next level, you probably stop getting them. So you have to start buying them then if you want.
Start pumping some. You got to buy some
some money there.
Overwatch dough and with your real dough and
Yeah, I guess
Your
so.
Canada.
and then you buy loot crates.
Yeah.
All right. Joe, have you been playing anything? Did you finish Uncharted yet?
Nope.
Still working on
I'm
it?
playing Uncharted right now.
Okay.
So yeah,
All
I'll get through it. I think this weekend for sure. Should be done.
Fair enough.
It's great.
I haven't played anything in 2 weeks, and I'm starting to get the shakes. I need to play something.
Play Stellaris.
I want to get on that actually,
I've
and
done that also.
I need to get on. What I need to do is actually reach out to those guys to see if we can get them on the show because that would be fun to talk to them.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right.
But there's so many betas that you could be a part of. You get Paragon, you get
We got
Lawbreakers.
We got Lawbreakers
It is
tonight.
Lawbreakers is tonight. We are our intrepid community manager, Mr. Chris Morris, junior designer at Boss Key.
Starts in 10 minutes.
It starts in 10 minutes. He said he was kind enough to send us all some friends and family alpha invites.
Knowing full well that we can't go to this one.
Yeah. So I'm going to try and get my shitty laptop to run it, but we'll see how that works out. I don't know. We'll see. I should have just go back to work tonight and do it there. Couple of
That's funny. Yeah, just get on the dev machine. And
just do it that way.
Just tell Melissa you won't be home tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Just leave it on my desk. It's fine. Very quickly, let's talk about what we're washing the episode down with. When we're not hosting dinner parties with Brad Pitt, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Morgan Freeman and talking about how disagreeable we can be, we like to podcast with a few beers and talk about games among a variety of other things. Is it a sin? Mayhaps it is, but we're sure as shit not going to make any examples out of anyone. So today we're drinking the Ninkasi Special Release Beer Run IPA, about 7 and change %, sounds like.
That'll get you there.
We got the variety pack.
It'll get you drunk.
It's a good day to be on this podcast right now, at least from a beer perspective. We'll see how the rest of the episode
Wow.
goes.
Just from the beer perspective.
Well, TBD, guys. TBD.
Secretly, why we do this whole
Right?
thing.
It's just an excuse
One
to drink.
opportunity to drink. That's a lot of work that goes into just giving us an opportunity to drink.
But we have to justify it to other people. That's why.
That's what it is. Like, look, there's a script, I swear.
Exactly. All right, so we got plenty to talk about today. Let's get right to it.
Number one.
Man, the early reviews of the new Warcraft movie have not been great. Plain and simple. Whether it hits with the rest of us or misses, it's not heartening if you believe what you read. Regardless, and just for a few moments, maybe we don't blame the people bearing the pressure, like Duncan Jones and Blizzard or Activision or the production company, any of that stuff. Just for a little bit, let's pretend that people like us, gamers, expect too much from people who try to turn games into something else. The inevitable marriage between the two is becoming more apparent all the time. So maybe we could try to not see it as an affront to our not-so-private mission to conquer pop culture, now that things have picked up steam lately. Either you haven't been paying attention or you've been playing Overwatch. Whew. I want to know how you guys feel about this. Are you surprised that the reviews are coming back the way they are?
No.
I don't think people are surprised about it. I'm surprised that they made it, I guess you could say. Like, there's been so many problems with like video game movies coming out, and I think a lot of the problem comes from the scope of the movie that they're trying to make, and this is no exception. Like World of Warcraft is this huge grand lore piece, and they're trying to tell it all in 2 hours, and it doesn't make sense to cram it into that kind of thing. Like, and that's why I think a lot of the complaints have been that it has felt real campy and stuff, because it's a ridiculous piece of lore, and when you try to cram it in, it seems ridiculous.
Okay. From what I understand, I've only read like a handful of the reviews, for the context of this argument that I'm going to try and make here. But from the way I understand it, it takes itself a little bit too seriously. It doesn't necessarily touch on the notes of humor and kind of like meta-ness that Warcraft can have at times.
It does, but because of just the background lore, like if it's still kind of silly, like some of the stuff that happens in it. So
sure.
I don't know, like it's.
I mean, if South Park can do it, why can't they make a full featured movie out of it, right?
Well, because Bigger, Longer, and Uncut starts with something small and makes it larger.
I'm saying that the South Park episode where they made fun of Warcraft or whatever. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Make love,
but they
not
still,
Warcraft?
but they still managed to nail the feel of Warcraft and what it meant. You know what I mean? More so maybe than.
That's an effort to capture an essence, though, and that's something maybe this
22
movie
minutes,
should have done instead of captured.
That was them trying to capture the essence of playing
being
the
a
game.
player, yeah, which is totally different.
This movie's trying to capture the essence of being in this universe that's really grand and like
do an
expansive.
immersion type of thing.
More than a decade of lore.
well over a decade at this point, but yeah.
Oh, and they go back
like 2 decades if you go back to the original Warcraft.
Almost, yeah. I mean, yeah, if you count, the RTS stuff, but
yeah.
It's just too much stuff for them to cover, I guess. I don't know.
Well, so okay, so here's
too much CG.
Here's what I'm willing. Like, I want to try and attack this from a different angle, and I want to blame us as fans. And when I say us, not the three of us, but like everyone that was hoping that this was going to be good or put enough to ride on it, or really like what we should call and take to task here is that like we should stop giving a fuck about video game movies to a point where like even if it's bad, let's just let it be what it is.
How does that make them become good?
Because if we're willing to maybe open our minds a bit to an interpretation, not a complete like faithful adjustment of what this thing was as a game, not as a movie. Like when people talk about all the time how when you like, oh, they made this book into a movie. Well, the book is still better, but people still go see the movie regardless. You know what I mean? So
I don't think this is a game is better than the movie argument. I really think that this movie is a piece of shit argument. I don't think this movie specifically. I'm saying in the context
none of us here have seen the movie.
No, that's why I'm trying to clarify now.
Okay.
I'm saying the general argument, not the argument for Warcraft. But when game movies are bad, it's because the movie is bad. It's not because the game is better than the movie. It's to me, it's a totally different argument. And I feel like your argument is kind of like just saying like it's not me, it's you kind of thing. Like it's not the movie,
I'm
it's
saying
you.
It is us. It's not the movie.
Right. That's not true. I mean, if the movie's genuinely bad, it's not our problem for not pretending like it's good.
I'm willing to grant you the fact that if the movie's a piece of shit, so be it.
Which they have been. So I mean, for the most part,
You're just saying video game movies as a whole
have been very bad. We've had discussions about this. I mean, I appreciate your positivity is refreshing.
I'm not sure you can qualify it as positivity because I'm trying to blame us for the fact that Warcraft is bad, but like
right. I don't know.
I'm just trying to be like, maybe just be accountable and let certain people off the hook to a certain degree. And if that comes across as positive, great. But I guess like maybe part of me feels like if gamer culture, quote unquote, was a bit more forgiving of the people that kind of co-opt it into something else, whether it be comic books or movies or other facets of pop culture, if we were a bit more forgiving, like, and less protective of the things that we love so much about gaming, that maybe the reviews wouldn't come back like this. But we're also talking about movie critics who probably have like, you know, it's probably growing, but very little understanding of what Warcraft is as a game or as a movie for that matter. You know what I mean?
But what does Warcraft mean to you?
Warcraft is something that I've talked about on this podcast many times. I've probably put a total of like 20 hours in that game.
What does the Warcraft story mean to you, I guess? And
very little. What the Warcraft movie means to me is it's a Duncan Jones joint, like the guy who did Moon and Source Code, and like the pedigree is awesome. Like he's a good director. You know what I mean? At least so far. I mean, he's a young one, and it's a relatively young career as a director, and I think it was probably a very large and almost unfair challenge for him to kind of like take this and do something with it that was sanctioned not only by the production.
I don't know. John Favreau did Iron Man, and that was
knocked it out of the fucking park. He's like the grandfather of the MCU at this point. He's the one that got the ball rolling. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
and he was a young director at that time for sure. Like you're looking at only before that doing like Zathura and.
Swingers, dude.
Yeah, but that's a really. There's a couple movies you just named.
But he did a couple. I think he did a few. He did Elf. He did a bunch of other ones.
Yeah,
too.
he only did a handful, and then he did Iron Man, which was really like a left turn, you know, from all the other stuff he'd been working on, and it was like, boom, you deserved it. So the same thing kind of goes for Duncan Jones. Like, here's an opportunity.
I'm not worried about Duncan. He's gonna be fine. You know what I mean? What I'm worried about is the way that we're portraying. Like,
I think
we
the
continue
source
to
material is kind of a problem in a way.
I think that's okay.
Also,
sure,
like,
maybe
sure.
Like, that's why I was asking, like, what does Warcraft exactly mean to you in a way, and what does it mean to other people?
I don't think it has enough meaning to me as a person.
What does it mean to a gamer, and how do they translate that into the big screen? I mean, World of Warcraft is an MMO where people are kind of like creating their own stories around their characters. And
that's what MMOs do, sure.
And that's kind of what I think people really enjoy about it, is that they're playing in this world, and now they're getting this grand story of the backstory that is honestly kind of ridiculous, and it's fun, but I mean,
the backstory itself is ridiculous, or the fact that they're trying to do it at all is ridiculous.
No, the backstory is ridiculous, but it's ridiculous in a fantasy kind of way. Anyways, like it's not unacceptable. Like there's a lot of good stuff there, and it's cool lore. It's fun, but there's just so much of it, and I feel like if they took the movie away from like some of those grand storylines and made it more of like a
real like a movie with a story for
a movie. Around like just one person that existed in this World of Warcraft, like, or in this Warcraft universe, it would be better. Like it would be and they could take this with a lot of different video games. They could take this approach with other video games too, where they're not like trying to tell the main story that people experience, because everybody experienced it differently. They played the game differently. Games are about interacting with the story, and they need to tell like a separate story
of
maybe.
The onlooker of those events. Like the events are occurring around them that you remember. So there's like that subtle connection there, but it's about an individual that was a part of it, and not necessarily the one you played when you played the game.
Then not only do you introduce people to the Warcraft universe, you get them to want more
personal, not specific.
At the end of the story, they're like, "Oh, I got this like really cool little story, and it seems to take place in this giant, awesome universe. I want to see more of this." Like they,
which is why like Guardians of the Galaxy worked so well.
Yeah, it worked a little bit better because it was a bunch of like criminals in space, pretty much.
But it's also a very specific story to
a much larger
Star-Lord and obviously the rest of the Guardians. But like, but the world building is enough to make you curious to be like, I want to see more of what's happening.
Most of the people that were fan of the Marvel movies didn't even know what the Guardians of the Galaxy were when it first came out. Like it was just like. It was just a random comic that they made into this awesome movie, and it's like, I want to know more about this. Oh, it exists in the Marvel universe.
So they need to get James Gunn to come and do the Warcraft reboot. Then is that?
I don't know. Like it doesn't make sense to tell a story of that grand magnitude in 2 hours or 2.5 hours.
And I think this is exactly where you're absolutely 100% correct. And I think, especially in a time when we're seeing that like TV actually makes more meaningful entertainment and more like engaging entertainment than these 2 hour movies do. Like when are we going to get a TV series? the AMC
Well, I can't.
Warcraft.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Which tells a more specific story.
There's a really big problem that actually goes both directions, and I'll try to sum it up quickly in both directions for you guys. The first, we'll actually look at the video game side of things. We all know what licensed IPs look like, right?
Sure.
When we go from the direction of a famous television show or movie that gets licensed to become a game, 99.9% of those suck ass.
It's fucking crap.
Okay,
yeah.
and the reason
there are exceptions, but yes.
The reason why they suck ass is because the motivation for making that game is not to make a good game. It's to make a licensed IP that will
capitalize
sell
on
because
a
of
market
what
value.
it is,
Yep.
not because of how good it is. And at one point, if you're patient enough, somebody steps up to the plate and goes, "That's fucking stupid. I'm going to make a really good game." Enter Batman reboot. Like, those games are...
You could even say like Transformers Devastation. Yeah.
That
Transformers
also.
ones, yeah.
So those are two really good examples. The Transformers were probably the leader, the one that put the first foot forward of making a game that was a licensed IP where they were like, why? Wait,
You don't give a shit about the movies. Let's just make a
Hey,
good
publisher, can we actually make a good game? Do you mind if we take the time to make a good game? And then somebody agreed to say yes. I think that this is a similar problem. So if we look at the opposite direction, from going to video games to movies, I think these movies are the licensed IPs going the opposite direction, where people know for a fact that you're going to go watch it if you played the Warcraft series. It's a cash grab, right? And it makes a lot of sense, but it doesn't have to be good. So why would they spend the extra money, effort, energy into actually making a good film until you get a handful of people that will not make it otherwise? And that is yet to happen. And until it happens, we're not going to get the Batman or the Transformers in film form from a video game adaptation.
From the opposite.
Well,
direction.
yeah,
Okay.
it all comes down to making money. It's like why they're going to make more Justice League movies, because the Batman Superman movie made so much money,
Right, and it sucked.
Despite being a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I think Warcraft is probably going to still make a decent amount of money. Like, there's enough people invested in that universe that that don't care if it wins an Oscar, but they want to see it represented on film. They want an excuse to go see that thing.
They're going to
in the
complain. Those
theater.
people are going to complain just as much as anyone else, and then they're going to go see.
I don't think it's going to make as much money as people are
Yeah,
thinking
you're probably
about.
right, but I hope not. Yeah. Sorry, say again. I'm sorry.
I don't think it's going to make as much money as people think it is.
Good. Maybe they'll make a good movie then.
Yeah.
I mean,
But we keep saying that about video game movies, and it doesn't seem to keep happening. So,
they keep making.
They keep making a lot
this
of
is,
money.
I guess this is why I'm like trying to put it on us a little bit as fans of this kind of thing, and hoping that they can make a good movie out of a video game franchise. Like, in parallel, really quickly before we move on, though, like, we're watching Angry Birds. It's like the third highest grossing movie in the world right now. Like, the reviews aren't necessarily spectacular, but enough people went to fucking see it. Like,
perfect example of that kind of movie. That's a movie that you can't even possibly capture the world and the lore because it's not really there except for the
there's some
overall
birds that hate
look
some
of
pigs,
it.
and then it's
and so
there you
that's
go.
perfect. That's a perfect platform for somebody actually just writing
It's
a
a clean
decent
slate.
story. Yeah, I mean,
So you're telling me this is why they can actually make a Tetris trilogy?
actually, yeah, probably
right? It's a clean
Fucking-
slate. Do whatever the fuck
that
we
was
want.
the argument the last time,
That's
where
true,
like
yeah,
they could do
that's
anything
true.
they want with it, and that's kind of a good thing. It's like a
Right.
safe place to be in. I don't understand how they're going to handle like blocks falling from the sky, but other than that, I mean, it's going to be weird.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. We'll move on. I don't know. I'm not sure it's our fault, but I wanted to have a reason to like maybe change the
Blame
the
someone else?
No, I just wanted to change the conversation about it. Like, instead of
Yeah,
just assuming that video game movies are going to be shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, they are. They are.
They are currently. They don't have to be. And
Right.
I'm holding out still.
I don't know. I want to see
How many
actually-
times we're going to talk about this on
Everything-
the show until it becomes finally a good
Sure,
one, and we're
sure.
going to have a party.
Yeah, but it's gonna be like a good one that we don't really care about, like Angry Birds or something. Like
exactly. Right, I'll bet you in 2 weeks it's going to become this thing where it's like, I guess we got to go see Angry Birds. Like, got a 98 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Tomatoes,
It's like the next Toy Story. I'm just like, God damn it. Number 2.
Japan, rife with its upstart mechs and the devil's ramen, has decided to entertain the madness of some of its engineers, who've decided they're going to build a flying car by the time the 2020 Tokyo Olympics roll around. Fuck yes. Why the fuck not? Honestly, that's it. I mean, there's little else to fill you in on. Flying fucking cars, guys. Like, this is it. Like, straight up. Is it possible? It's a short window. 4 years. I mean, and development has been underway for a certain extent, but how fucking rad is this? This is pretty rad.
This is a completely misleading article, I think.
Agreed. Yes, it is. We're going to get to why here in a second, but yes.
Basically, what I took away from it is they're going to make like some prototype and fly around during the Olympics, and then it's going to be over. Pretty much, it's like It's not going to be like, oh, we're releasing flying cars now. Honda's coming out with a flying car.
Right.
It's like, no.
Honda's coming out with a flying car. Yeah.
It's like we're basically we're putting together a bunch of metal, we're putting wings on it, and for some reason it's not a small plane.
Right.
No, it's for spectacle. It's like,
Right.
it's like why China
It's a
built a
publicity stunt,
gigantic LED screen and for their Olympics or something. It's nothing special.
Okay.
In my opinion, it's and unrealistic. Nobody.
But they're calling it the SkyDrive.
SkyDrive, guys. Should we run on the specs really quickly? Okay.
Sure.
It's got 3 wheels and 4 rotors. It'll be a VTOL, so you can do vertical takeoff and landing. It's able to. You won't need a runway effectively. It's only about a little less than 10 feet by 4.5 feet, give or take. Top speed of 62 miles per hour, so you're not exactly traveling through time. Maybe put a Mr. Fusion on it and we'll see. But top altitude, this is the funniest part to me. 32 feet. That's as high as it gets.
That's high enough to kill yourself if you fall out of it, probably.
Break a leg or two.
bone.
Break a leg or two.
Well, if you fall on your head.
Yeah, sure. I assume it's going to be electric, so there's no like gas tank to explode, so you might survive.
I doubt that.
So, I mean, we're a ways away from like Fifth Element style traffic patterns here, or Bruce Willis in a flying cab. Multipass. But the team is about 20 engineers, led by Tsubasa Nakamura. They built a working prototype, and then when they first started out, and they built a full size prototype, but I don't think it really went anywhere. It was more just like a model mock up.
So it's drone tech, basically they're just making
the 1/5 size model was drone tech, but the idea is that the full size version will be manned,
large drone tech.
Right. Well, no, but it's not drone. It'll be manned. There'll be a person flying it on hand, not remotely. You know what I mean?
But will he be flying it, or will he be in it and step out of it when somebody else flying it around?
Yeah.
That's an excellent question. I don't know.
Hence the spectacle problem, right?
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure. I think.
Isn't any move in this direction a good thing, though? Should we still be happy about?
No.
Why not? If you pair this with like the self-driving technology, then all of a sudden it's kind of like I can go live on my flotilla out in the Indian Ocean because I can get anywhere with my flying car. I don't need roads anymore.
Yeah, it's
not to bring back
where we're going.
Right, Back to the Future reference. Don't need roads.
It's not realistic to allow the general public to fly around.
Yeah, absolutely fucking not.
Yeah, but if the general public isn't flying it, if they incorporate the self-flying technology, then it's just a bunch of coordinated
to allow
things.
The general public inside a self-flying
general
car,
public couldn't fucking afford this anyway, at least for the next 50 years or whatever.
But you could claim the general public couldn't afford a computer,
Yeah, 20 years ago.
Seriously,
it's like
no, fair enough.
Back when bugs was like having a legitimate physical bug fly into this giant fucking computer.
But the security concerns and everything, the idea that we're assuming that flying cars are going to take off the way that the home computer did is a bit presumptuous in my mind.
Is it?
Here's the thing.
I think we'll get self-driving cars before we get flying cars.
But self-driving cars are already they're mentioning it's going to be like 15 years out or something now because
before it's like a thing. But they're talking about having a flying car in 4. So
there was already an incident with the self-driving car that decided to crash into a bus,
and it won't be the last one. You know what I mean?
But that puts the technology out quite a ways.
Yeah, that immediately adds years before.
Go on.
Politics allow it to be
legislation and all that.
We're talking about it being a sellable product. You just made the argument that there'll be a flying car in 4 years. No, that's not the argument.
This is what they're saying. There's going to be a flying car in 4 years.
They're talking about. We're talking about selling.
It says it right there in the script.
Look, like Nick said, putting someone in a car at the Olympics and flying them around in the middle is not the same as releasing the opportunity to own a flying car to the public. That's a completely different thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in this case, it's the same thing. We got self-driving car technology, but one of them decided to run into a bus. That sets us back a good 5 to 10 years before any legislation goes through that lets us fucking buy one. You have to prove the track record of this technology before we let it go out. We might have this crazy exponential growth model for technology in general, but legislation and humanity tend to slow that down. Oh, and the economy, because, capitalism likes to spoon feed you slowly on these little things where it's like, oh yeah, the latest thing is this new fucking tire.
You can get a flying car, but then you can get the collector's edition flying car.
Not even that.
It comes with an art book.
No, they just like we had electric cars is a good example. There were electric cars and they were just stripped from the market like the next year when they came out. This was fucking 10 plus years ago when
Dude,
I had a neighbor who fucking had an electric car.
First episode of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, no joke, is talking to two guys back in the 70s who built an electric car.
Fuck yeah, man.
Fucking, I'm not even kidding. And now look at where it is now. You know what I mean? So so basically all it's going to take is for this flying car to crash into a playground, and then the legislation alone is going to put it off 20 years before we're allowed to have flying cars.
I don't even want flying cars. I don't want anybody flying things around me. Like
drones, flying cars.
My plastic surgeon doesn't like any activities where balls fly at my nose.
It's not realistic to expect people to get into these flying vehicles and fly around the neighborhood. I mean,
it's kind of exciting though.
It's not. It's scary because people are gonna hijack that shit and fly it into a building. It's the new way to kill yourself. Get a flying car and jump out of it, or fly it into a building or something.
It sounds pretty fanatical. I mean, you got
no. It
I
does.
don't like people. That's the same thing where you the idea of having a bunch of cars around you, because I don't want people driving around me. New way to kill yourself is run your car into the side of a building.
The flying car, first of all, only has
you
one.
Gotta drive a car on roads. The flying car, you can take it anywhere. That's the problem.
The flying car only has one passenger. He's not going to hijack himself and then crash it into something.
Well, he is if he's a terrorist.
Just go with it. Just humor me for a minute.
Why can't we get something like teleporters instead? I'd be much more ecstatic for teleporters. Then I don't have to fly anywhere. I'm already there.
Baby steps, man. We all know that when you start teleporting yourself, you fucking die where you stood, and then you're teleported over there
and reincorporated.
You'll have the clone. You will have no idea.
My new self won't care.
I kind of want a food replicator before I want a teleporter, to be honest. But
it's good practice first, because you're like, this orange is inside out. That's
that's what I'm saying. If you can produce a steak for me, flawlessly,
but it's gonna be made out of poop and other stuff. It's gonna be all this complex
reprocessed.
It's gonna be
molecules and atoms.
If it gives me nutrients and it tastes the same, I don't give a shit.
It's not a problem.
No pun intended.
You can though, because literally then bar stools will literally just be toilets, and as you're eating it, you're just it's circle of life, guys.
Oh, and then we can play Warcraft forever.
Never. Nam. I don't know. It's fine.
Flying cars. Nick's not happy.
Nick, you seem really upset about this.
I don't know. It's not. I think every time a flying car article comes out, it's this is dumb, because it's never going to go anywhere.
Far more practical.
It's never
you're going to just shit all over these poor engineers' dreams.
FCC is going to to say no for the next 120 years.
Not in Japan, and not for the opening ceremonies of the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. So what? If you got to get specific. But like, if they make this happen, like if I see it, if I'm watching the opening ceremonies for the 2020 Olympics, I won't, because I haven't watched the opening ceremonies for the Olympics in a long time. But if it happens and there's a fucking flying car comes down out of nowhere during a giant like
it's
drum
not going to
dance, like
it's not a flying car. It is a guy inside of a drone, like flying around the Olympics, pretty much. I mean, maybe he's controlling the drone inside of it, but it's not a car. Like when it becomes a car, it's like.
But it's got 3 wheels, so like when he gets on the ground, you can still drive it.
So that's more of like a moped.
It's still a plane.
That's how planes work. Yeah. I mean, I'm still having like I'm having a huge crisis here where I had this shocking moment where I'm like, oh, flying car is a fucking plane. Like it's just a smaller one that you don't.
What does flying car mean to you? I mean, it's like I'll tell you what it means. I can put my kids in the back and like my luggage and stuff. I can
go to the grocery store.
Fly to the grocery store.
Like a flying car to me means it's the same functionality of a car, but like the non-dependence on roads. Like I'm not.
So you're not going to get
this. This isn't that at all. This is not
like with the first iteration. Like it gets 32 feet off the fucking ground. Great. Better not drive in like Manhattan downtown traffic, or otherwise I crash into the side of a building, and then we've seen problems with that in the past. However,
where do you put your groceries in these
But
things?
what you're talking about is you're talking about personal planes. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
We're talking about a family-owned
people right here in
Like,
Seattle
that's-
do have fucking like the water planes, like the pontoon planes.
pontoons. Yeah, and then you just
And they get out of their fucking lake house and they get in their pontoon
so
plane.
they own
and
a
go to
lake.
fucking
They
work.
own a lake. They own a flying boat. Is what you're saying.
So
No,
you're
by the
telling
same
me you
definition.
can't have a flying car, but you can have a flying boat?
No, I was giving you an example of how ridiculous that sounds. I was making
you're
the
saying it's the same
counterpoint.
shit. Okay,
yeah,
fine.
Basically, I'm saying if you have to call that a flying boat, or else you can't call that other thing a flying
That's
car.
a water plane, is what it is.
I don't really get it either anymore. Like when I analyze it, it just sounds like a really stupid fucking idea.
It's just
Honestly, you know what? Like, there was actually one decent point in this article that actually got me thinking about it, and I alluded to it earlier, but it was the whole idea that, like, if we get rid of the infrastructure of roads and have cars that can fly, and then, you know, they're not really cars, again, at that point, because you need roads for cars, but you could, like, start settling these flotillas of settlements on water, and just, like, when I go to work, I get in my car, and instead of driving over a bridge, I just go.
Okay, I agree. I
land
agree
in
with
the
that.
water?
I just
what he's saying is it allows us as a society to expand our capability of living outside of land masses.
Right.
I don't think that that's realistic.
No,
any storm will tell you it's
very,
not.
very far down the road. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, like, the idea of it is an intriguing one, and therefore,
can we go to space instead? Like,
Yeah,
can we
let's
go
do
to the
that.
moon
but we
instead?
are doing all that.
and like, you know, really go to space instead of this. Like, I'd be much
People
more,
are talking about going to Mars like crazy right now. Like,
Well, I know,
People
but
are talking about nuking Mars.
that's also true.
that makes sense to me. Nuke Mars.
Terraform that
Mars?
shit, motherfucker.
I love it. If you don't explain the science, you nuke Mars so we can live there someday.
And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah, let's leave that alone. Number 3.
While it seemed like such a fruitful rivalry, Oculus issued a new update recently that reversed some functionality that allowed Oculus exclusive games to be played on the HTC Vive. Vive. I'm never going to get that right. However, in response, a rascally hack called Revive turns on a workaround that essentially turns this functionality back on. So while Oculus wanted to try and protect its exclusive work by patching their headset with an update to combat piracy, it turns out all they're doing is encouraging it. Me, I'm just waiting for someone to tell me I can use my iPhone with Gear VR. So
It's not going to fit. It's like a physical.
it's like a restriction of space. Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand.
The way I feel about this is like, what if people license the API for keyboards? Like, what if everybody had to have a different, like, they had to pay different people for different keyboards, and if you had a keyboard that didn't work with this operating system, it wouldn't work because you didn't. Okay. When these Gear, sorry,
I know I'm having trouble here.
Take a breath.
when Gear and Oculus were coming out, it very much felt like it was going to be more of like an open marketplace where I
Okay,
could
yeah.
use the Gear or the Oculus
Oculus.
interchangeably, and I could play whatever I want. And now it's not that anymore. Like,
The tech's totally split,
When
and
you
they
say
started.
when you say
They're-
Gear,
now
are you
they're-
talking about?
now they're platforms.
Are you talking about the Vive?
Yeah.
Oh,
sorry.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because Gear and
is Oculus,
and
yeah.
Oculus run on the same thing, but you're talking about the Vive.
So I'm talking about the Vive
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
Oculus,
Good
and
correction.
they're both just keyboards to interact with a program, pretty much.
Right.
And now I can't play
It's a
different
peripheral,
games.
yeah.
Like I can't play Doom on this keyboard because I didn't buy the other one.
Yeah, well, that was a huge problem because at one point the technology was very similar, and then it split drastically. It'd be like having a keyboard where the right side of the keyboard like bent 90 degrees and went down.
It split so
and
drastically that this guy created a hack for it
No.
immediately, to make them run on each other. Like,
Well, I know, but then your keyboard then has like a joystick sticking out the right side and like a big arm that like punches you in the face, so that you get haptic feedback. And then so if a developer designed a game for that keyboard, they'd be like, well, if you use this other keyboard, you won't get punched in the face, and we really want you to get punched in the face.
It helps the immersion, guys.
I understand the technology is a little bit different, but this guy proved that it's not.
That it's not different enough.
It's not
right? Yeah.
like it's. all these games should run on both of them. They're just
Well, and for a while they did, right? And to me that made sense because it's like, who gives a shit? Like we all came up together, and there was all this talk throughout the entire process of development for both of these particular VR headsets that like there was a lot of collaboration happening. It's like we're going to help each other out to figure out these design problems and these code problems and everything else to kind of like make sure that it works and that we can both exist or coexist at least in a competitive market, right?
Yeah.
But this and to even like put the fucking icing on the cake of that, even Palmer Luckey said, he's like, if you buy exclusive content from us, I don't care what you do with it after that point. And that is complete. This whole thing of them trying to like set down these rules that like, oh, you know what, these guys worked really hard on this and this is exclusive to us and we want to protect that. While the sentiment is good, it goes completely against the idea that this is like a collaborative effort. And that's what made VR cool to me, is that everybody's trying to work together to solve these problems. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then you let the customer decide which avenue they want to go down.
Yeah. This I mean, it's completely contradictory to what Palmer Luckey said, like back in January or December about like, oh, if they buy it on Oculus and they play it on the VR or they play it on the Vive, I don't care. Like it's fine.
Yeah.
And this is
shit changes. Don't get me wrong. I'm not even blaming him. Like things change when you run a company and you're on the marketplace.
Exclusivity on these like niche platforms is going to kill it before it even comes out. Like before it even
you sound
goes
very
anywhere.
Very familiar to the comment thread that I was reading underneath this article.
I totally agree with that though. It's absolutely. We're already having trouble adapting VR as a potential platform as a society, and now we want to have people competing and restricting the market so much that you're making it aggravating for me to be interested in VR in the fucking first place.
It does seem preemptive. I feel like 3 years from now,
like, calm the fuck down. No one's buying them right now.
3 years from now, when things are really like figured out and VR is hitting hard and like there's actually like truly decent, like, not to say that the work is wasted, but like things have developed to a point where we're finally getting these truly immersive experiences the way VR is intended. You know what I mean? Then maybe start like carving out your barriers and your borderlines at that point. But now, like, wow, it feels preemptive. It feels a bit like you're jumping the gun by restricting it when you've already established you guys have been out for a couple months and people are playing games back and forth to a certain degree. But who the fuck cares? People are just enjoying VR. Wasn't that the point?
People aren't in. I don't have one. I don't know anybody that has one.
There's a Gear VR right behind you.
It's in the box. It's got the seal. Like it's not even open. It's been in there for fucking 3 weeks.
If I had
you'd use it for 3 days and then set it aside.
Yeah.
That's what you'd do.
That thing.
Maybe you're right. I don't know.
Do you want to buy it? No,
you got it for free. What do you
on
mean?
The show, right? Exactly. But you don't know that. Wait,
but I just told you.
How much would you pay me for it? You'd be able to walk out of here with it today. You get your own Gear VR.
I'll give you the rest of the beers in this 12
No, see, so you don't really care about VR because you're not willing. That's $150.
Not from my phone. I don't.
What if you could only
$150
from my phone?
What if you could only play Uncharted on that and not on the
PS4?
Vive? Yeah. No, I mean, like, what if
you can't play Uncharted?
Wait, I'm still trying to sell my Gear VR. We're not.
Are you hard up here? I would like to try it at some point, so you have to lend me your Android phone. But regardless, the Switch here is what bothers me about this, and I can't necessarily blame Oculus for turning around and being like, you know what, A, we want to fight piracy. A, we're a $2 billion corporation that is trying to protect the stuff that we've made and protect the people who made it, and that, to me, again, makes sense to a certain degree. But when you are developing a product and you turn around and say, like, as long as you buy it from us, I don't care what you do with it after the fact. This to me is a 180 to a certain degree, and I'm not sure it's not going to hurt sales. It's not going to do anything wrong. It's just, like, we live in this little bubble where this makes sense to us, and it may take a while for people to. I'm saying it makes sense in the sense that, like, we understand why maybe he's making these decisions. Not saying we agree with it. What I'm saying is, people are gonna have to kind of like figure out, and I think this is where this guy who made the hack is coming from, in the sense like, I didn't want to have to do this and create this hack, but like everything was kind of cross-platform by default, not necessarily intentionally, but it kind of was. And he's like, and we were doing much better with that kind of ecosystem existing the way it was. I'm just doing this so that we can keep that going, regardless of what the proprietors think or want. So.
Well, I agree with them. I mean,
yeah, no, it's what you just said. It's like, proprietary tech kills cool tech, right? Isn't that like the top comment on that fucking article? Like, don't know, but and that's what you reiterated it, and that's kind of the way it works. Like I don't necessarily think it's wrong.
How do you guys parallel this then with the console wars? I already know what you're going to say, but
I would parallel this with like
Xbox or PlayStation 4, Vive or
Oculus,
I'd explain it this way though, like with the Xbox and they're both like fucking $300 more than either of those consoles, so it doesn't matter. Like it's hard to
for
make
now.
argument.
Yeah,
for that. It's hard to make
now,
argument.
but
am I going to spend $700 to play this game or $600 to play this game? It doesn't make like that is a lot of money for anybody to spend, and
it's a luxury item.
the average person.
no, you're going to spend $1,300 and you're going to get both.
Nobody's going to spend any money because they're going to
You're going to spend more than that just to get a PC that runs it in the first.
You won't be able
place.
to make the decision, right?
You won't make the decision. It's like, oh, I'd be better off if I didn't play VR because then I get to save $1,300 plus the money it makes to build the game. PC.
And the PC that you have to make that shit run at the right frame rate.
It's like it's such like a fragile marketplace right now. I don't think it's gonna. This is a great move at all.
No, I agree,
Horrible.
and I think that's the best point is that because it's so fledgling, don't restrict it. Like keep it open. You know what I mean?
Now
And
you think
that's-
that $300+ for a console just merits the console wars concept, or you still think that in and of itself is stupid too?
I think
Like every game that's made, should it be cross-platform just by default?
personally, I think games should be cross-platform, but it's not as big of an issue on consoles right now because so many games are cross-platform.
not so many, but a few are sure.
Most
games are cross-platform.
When you're from a development perspective, yes. I'm not to say like I can't play with my PS4 friends like I can play with.
Oh, that's not what I mean.
That's
No,
not,
I understand.
not
at all.
I meant just like I can play Call of Duty on both
Rocket
the
League,
PlayStation,
Rocket
or,
League cross-platform.
yeah,
Same.
PC and
Wait, you can't use the term cross-platform for something other than what it actually
Server,
means.
you can play on your
Yes.
Xbox and play against your friends who play
Yeah,
PS4.
that's not the meaning of
just
cross-platform.
Say cross-platform play or something. I guess.
cross-platform play.
I guess.
Cross-platform network play is totally different than the idea of a cross-platform game.
No, it's a slang. I'm keeping it short.
But
So
you
many
keep it
syllables.
short, and you cross over with something that already has a meaning. You can't do that.
Yo,
That's
man.
right. You are being the English language right now,
chill.
and it's frustrating.
Chill.
Stop being the English language.
Chill out, man.
I'm chilling, and by that I don't mean I'm cold. I mean, I'm cool.
Fair enough.
Wait, no, not
hold,
cool.
Hold on.
No, wait.
You're all right.
Fuck this
Yeah.
language.
I hate this. I think it's
I hate it. You hate that Oculus did this, or the fact that we're talking about it in the first place?
the English language. But I hate that. No, Oculus has the right to defend against piracy and everything, but like it's complete, like you said, completely 180 from where this started with VR. Like, oh, let's
the
work
attitude.
together to make a better VR experience, and now it's like, oh, we can't do that anymore. This guy clearly shows that you can because he
Did it?
did it. So
Literally, like within days of the patch coming out, this guy had this thing working, and it's like, oh yeah, all those Oculus exclusives that you wanted to play on your Vive, you can still do that. So,
Revive
cheers.
everyone.
Fuck you, Oculus. I guess. I mean, his words, not mine. Probably not even his words, but
So nobody's words.
just fuck you, Oculus. Whatever. No,
But nobody said.
No, nobody said that, except for me. But I don't really mean it. It's fine. It's fine, everybody. It's fine.
Wow. I don't know.
I'm still not convinced of VR anyways in the first place. So.
Nobody really is. I think there's a bunch of
VR.
early adopters that I think, and then there are certain ambassadors for that, and in that regard, and that's good. Like that should happen. That's how these things take off. We need that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I was much happier with the whole VR situation being like a collaborative one instead of an exclusive one.
And that was a topic about how
That's
they were
what I'm
working
saying.
together.
Yeah, exactly.
And now, where'd that go? That was fast. That was a quick turnaround.
Exactly.
Thanks,
couple
Oculus.
months.
You made us liars.
God damn it. All right. We're on to the lightning round.
Cool.
Krakow.
Stop.
Kapow.
Here's how it works. We're going to take two quick topics and give each member of the panel a minute to chime in, uninterrupted for the most part. At the end of each minute, we will award the panelists a quantity of some type of points based on nothing in particular. Topic the first, or fourth, depending on how you look at it. Steven Spielberg, who begins shooting Ready Player One very soon, has put out a call to the public to submit their 3D avatars to be used in the movie, presumably. Fans have had a chance here to have some of their models and work featured in the movie. I have no idea what the screening process is, but this ends in one of two ways, where people literally send him packaged copies of the movie Avatar, or there's computer-generated dicks.
Are you taking
everywhere.
your minute in the description? That sucks.
No, I'm explaining how this works. So tell me what your avatar would look like, or just talk about how the lines between movies and games continue to blur. Mr. Arroyo.
Well, you took my joke and you put it in the description, so that sucks.
I wrote the script. It was my joke.
I think the TTC is going to be a whole like 5 seconds with that. It's going to be the very first thing that gets submitted.
Just a giant
bling.
dick.
It's just a big old veiny fucking
physics
cock.
rendered like
Yeah, dude, it's
dick.
just-
Yeah.
like it'll be a GIF too. It'll just be like flopping around. Welcome. I think it's funny because there's going to be somebody whose sole job is to sort through the dicks and the things they actually want to show to Steven Spielberg. And I don't know. It's
if
cool.
he's halfway. I'm sorry.
Look, it's a cool idea, and it will end in a lot of fun stuff. My avatar would probably be a picture of my dick, so it's unfortunate that mine
Or
wouldn't
a
make
pug.
it into the movie, or it would be a pug's dick, which nobody wants to see. Looks like lipstick.
I will award you.
Don't do it.
No.
No, I don't care.
2.5 inches of lipstick.
I will award you. Let's go with that.
She's gonna give me lipstick.
Just fucking fire engine red. There you go, buddy.
Jeez, man.
All right, Mr. Golish, give me a
Red
minute.
Rocket.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, give me a minute. Tell me what your avatar would be, or why this is a bad idea, or how many dicks you anticipate getting sent to
All right,
the folks at Ready Player One.
There's gonna be lots of dicks. What my avatar would be, I guess I don't know. Maybe I'd choose an Eve avatar or something I have because I got a full.
Gotta rep the
model
game,
footage.
sure.
Yeah, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not even concerned with that because I'm not going to submit anything. But I can't imagine the amount of manpower they're going to need to like process all of the
Those
submissions and like the wrongly submitted kind of stuff. Like they're going to get so many people that don't know how to format their files or like orientate them like in the wrong direction, and they're going to get these things that are like inside out, and they're not going to be able to use anything. Like they're going to get a few select things from people that know what they're doing, and they're probably going to choose those ones. And it's I don't know. I think he's underestimating the amount of work that this is going to take to like put these other people's generated content into this project. I don't know. So yay.
I'm going to give you 1 spoonful of sugar to make the medicine go down. I feel like you've been a real downer on this episode. Not a downer, but like you've been very naysay-ish.
Well,
I want you to feel better about games.
I would like to add and award you an MS Paint copied photo that's completely out of orientation. It's an image of me, but it looks like a stick.
I just want you to be happy.
It's also
That's all
my
I do.
dick.
So here's a Mary Poppins spoonful of sugar for you.
Yeah. Just orientated in the negative X direction or something. Or
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
negative X is up.
Are you using DirectX or OpenGL?
Neither.
Maya? I don't know.
Fine. All right, here we go. I feel like this is a perfect opportunity to kind of address this in like a Wreck-It Ralph sort of way, in the sense that like
I'm gonna
wreck it. There's a support group of old school games. Like this is going to be one of those opportunities where like people are going to see this and jump on and be like, "Oh, dude, I can submit my Mario avatar, but what I'm going to do first is put it in Unreal." And make it lit really well and make it look so amazing so that Kotaku writes an article about it and posts how cool this looks, and then I'll be in the Spielberg movie. Don't do that.
Entire another issue.
Because anybody can do it. It is an entirely other issue. I found a way to tie it together. You're welcome. However, here's the thing. You know that what's the song? It's Raining Men. You know that song?
Yes.
Who wrote it? Stop interrupting me. It's raining dicks, everybody. They're gonna get so many dicks. I mean, just dicks everywhere.
You get
The screening process is the real problem here.
you get
It's the screening process.
3 mushroom stamps.
Where do I receive these stamps? On my forehead or
One on each cheek.
on my chin? Yeah. Okay. Great.
At my post office. It's It's in this closet. I would like to award you.
I get 2 awards. Thank you.
I would like to award you Warcraft in Unreal Engine. Enjoy. They're making it, guys. Someone's making it.
It's happening. All right, topic the second for the lightning round. What do you get when you cross corned beef with Resident Evil 6?
A guy sucking a draft stick.
Yeah, try and unsee that one, the logo. It's true. A very confusing marketing stunt. Citizens in Zambia were in an uproar recently when a picture of what looked like a skinned corpse was getting passed around on social media. Zambia quickly blamed China for canning and selling human meat. The picture is actually from a 4-year-old Resident Evil marketing stunt. So tell me why this is dumb, why it's hilarious, or what you do to exacerbate or ease the situation. You can also come up with your own marketing stunt scenario that goes horribly wrong. So go. Mr. Golish.
Hey, how's it going?
Give me a minute.
What this reminds me of is the Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode where Frank feeds them human meat because they're raiding his meat fridge that he happens to have, I guess. That he has chained up. And
rum ham.
Yeah. They end up at the morgue at one point, and they're trying to with a hot plate. It's like, can we see the corpses? And they go in there and they're gonna take a bite out of the guy, and they couldn't do it because don't eat people because that's bad for you. Right. But
it was raccoon.
Yeah, it ended up being raccoon, and they got worms or something. So they got the craving. So they thought they had to consume.
They thought they had the human meat fever.
They thought they had to continue eating human meat to feel better. But
and you tie this back in somehow?
No, I mean
it's cool.
Danny DeVito's coming in a new movie too. I just watched the trailer today.
Yeah. Wiener Dog. It's
Wiener Dogs. Yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with eating people.
Cool.
I'm gonna award you 1 physical copy of Batman Returns because it's Danny DeVito's greatest role as the Penguin.
Not his greatest role, but okay.
His greatest role.
Well,
Frank Reynolds is arguably his best role, but
it's not an
TV
argument.
versus movie. It's not even an argument. All right, Mr. Arroyo.
Well, marketing stunts are cool. Maybe there was a possibility that someone did this and they're like, maybe they'll think we're actually doing it. There's no bad publicity, so you want to believe that I'm, shipping you human meat or something, then so be it, because then people are going to talk about it, and then it becomes a thing, and then everybody knows that Resident Evil's coming out or something. So it's never a bad idea. Maybe they had that in mind from the very beginning, and if not, I don't know. I don't know why they would think that it's human meat. I mean, obviously the go-to is cats. It's clearly cats, because that's more realistic, and it probably that's probably what it was. They probably just used cat meat for this stunt anyway.
Corned beef.
No, I'm pretty sure it was cat meat. Corned beef is, if you just say it differently, is cat meat.
Are you good? All right. I'm going to award you 2 things. A shoehorn, just because you shoehorned the shit out of that joke. And I
don't need a shoehorn. I did it.
And 2 cans of Soylent Green.
Okay.
There you go. It's people. All right. Jesus Christ.
I don't
even want to go now. I don't even want to. I just want to leave it at that. I don't even want to do it.
I'm tempted now to go to a restaurant that serves corned beef and see if I can say cat meat and make them believe it's corned beef. Like, I'll have the cat meat.
Meow. Like the whole super.
1 corned beef coming right up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just go to a.
Do you want it, Joe?
Village
or do you
Square
actually
later.
not want it?
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Right.
I don't have a. Actually, I do. That's not true. I'm going to take this minute to explain how I would kind of one up this as a dumb marketing stunt that probably gets misunderstood. Let's take Civilization, the game, and meld it with Survivor, the TV show, where each person on thing takes over as a literal physical representation of their nation or empire, and literally have to knock each other out or beat each other up or whatever to take over their whatever remote location that happens to be this season. You know what I mean? It's not Rapa Nui, it's the Seychelles or whatever the fuck. Madagascar, who gives a shit? But the only way that happens is literally when it turns into the fucking Hunger Games and or Like people are literally like murdering each other to be, it's the white guy from San Diego. I'm China. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm just gonna like do my best to do that. Or it's literally the Indian guy from India who plays as Gandhi, which we all know from Civ 5 is a fucking asshole. You know what I mean? But either way, that's how you one up a good publicity stunt.
That would be certainly interesting.
I'd watch it probably before I watch Warcraft.
I would like to award you some like a handful of blatant stereotypes because that's exactly what that show would become.
And can I make one statement on top of that?
Sure.
Have you played Civilization?
No.
It's blatant stereotypes. Great game though. Great game.
Well, they're the leaders. Like,
yeah, I know. They are the representation of an entire culture, and therefore have to be stereotypes.
But then if you made a reality show where the contestants were representations of an entire culture,
but that's what makes it so funny. Because Gandhi was not an asshole in real life. In Civilization,
no, I get
Gandhi's
it.
an asshole.
I'm saying take that concept to the reality TV show. The producers are going to pick the people that fit into the stereotypes that everyone else thinks is of that type. So you're going to have the most ridiculously stereotyped, like
that's right.
Asian dude, Indian dude, Mexican dude. He's like, oh, every 2 seconds. It's like, why? You're not that excited about everything.
Exactly.
We only do that at parties,
right? A quinceañera, for Christ's sake. God damn it.
Or every get together.
Dios mío, man. Dios mío.
but you guys have lots of get together.
I'm not trying to be racist.
Yeah, it's like every Saturday. I'm like,
please let me clarify. I'm not trying to be racist, but I am playing upon the stereotypes because like that's exactly what Civilization and Not for Nothing.
I'm not sure if
Survivor
people
is.
try to be racist all the time. Like usually they just
happens to be racist.
They're
Yeah,
usually just
fine.
racist. Yeah. They just say
Case
something
in
racist.
point,
I didn't
you're
try to be racist. It just came out that way.
That's fine.
if we could just be characters
I
on a TV show, then we wouldn't have to worry about.
I just want everybody to know
racist.
that I love taco bowls prepared at Trump Tower. That's what
They're the best at
they're
Trump
the best.
Tower.
They're the best. The best taco bowls in the world.
I feel like with that last topic, all of us would have been, if we had a guest, we would have been completely one up by our guests. Like we all had kind of like ridiculous points on that last one.
I could go for some corned beef right now. I don't know about you. Some cat meat. Some cat meat. You guys want some cat meat?
Cat meat? I think that's what we call the episode, and then we have an image of just corned beef.
Yeah,
and then we're good. All right.
I was way ahead of you in my head.
So good, so good. All right. Episode 98. It's in the books. We're 2 away from 100, man, and we got some fun shit planned for you guys. So hang in there and stick it with us for 2 more weeks at least, because after that
you can stop listening.
No, after that, actually, I mean, I think things are gonna wrap up. Like obviously, the past couple weeks we haven't had guests. I think we're saving them. We got some good ones coming up. We got some really good ones coming up post 100. So, yeah. And we're gonna be at E3, and there may or may not be an attempt to record a special edition episode. Because it's the first time we'll be doing a remote episode, but we'll see. Fancy. We'll see what happens. Fellas, always a pleasure hanging out with you, even though I do it 5 days a week.
You too, buddy.
All day long.
It was all right.
It's pretty great. It's all right. It's good.
I'm not going to write home about it.
Yeah,
Who the fuck writes home?
I'll talk to your mother later. It's fine. No.
Cat meat.
Corned beef. Thank you for being here, dear listener. Sorry, Nick, did you want to get in on that?
Go ahead.
I just want to say cat meat hash. Like cat meat hash.
Thank you for being here, dear listener. Honestly, we love that you guys tune in every week, and we're glad to have you, and we love that you listen. So keep doing it, and take your chances, take your opportunities, take some initiative to reach out to us at cheatcodespodcast.com on our Facebook or Twitter. And if you would be so kind, we'd appreciate a little iTunes love too. Go give us a rating. We recommend 5 stars. Unfortunately, that's the number that they offer.
There's no other choice. It's
we
weird.
Would say more, but 5 is good. 5, it's a round number. I have that many fingers on one hand or the other. If this was the Princess Bride episode last week, I could say it differently, but whatever, it's fine. We thank you for being here. We're always glad. This is why we do it, so that you can listen to us be fucking idiots, and it's fun, frankly. But that'll do us for now. We'll see you next week. You want to say goodbye, anybody?
Bye.
Bye.
What's in the box? What's in the box?